Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Chala Dincoy, CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert, coming to you live on YouTube. And for those of you who are watching us in replay, this is another episode of my podcast, Naked Marketing, where we talk about really honest marketing mistakes that we've made. And I have here the gorgeous guest, Jennifer Helene. Welcome, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me on the show.
You look like you've just exercised or something. Your skin is glowing.
I'm actually heading into my workout, but I do my breathing exercises in the morning. And I part of my food fitness and mindset philosophy is a lot about circulation, right?
Wow.
So the glow comes from, I think, hydration, high green food, high raw, massage, all that kind of good stuff, right? So
Wow.
circulation from the inside out and the outside in.
My God, we have a lot to learn from you. I bet you're like 90 years old.
No,
I'm
I'm nearing 50, but I'm definitely not 90.
Wow. But you look amazing. Okay. So that kind of gives us a hint about what you do, but why don't you tell us what you do for a living and who you help?
Well, I'm a health coach, coach of coaches, trainer of trainers, and I work with moms to revitalize their life, their health, and their businesses. And this is a really important topic to me because, there's so many demands on moms these days. They got to be the great wife. They've got to be a great mom. They've got to be a great businesswoman. And it can usually lead to divorce, burnout, and absentee parenting. And I say that doesn't have to happen. And I've figured it out because I've been on the verge and even done some of those things, and I've figured it out. So I can save them a ton of time and money.
And so you have kids?
I do. I'm a mom more than anything, I'm a mom, but she's 16 now. So she's she's giving me some room with her autonomy.
Oh, that's good. I thought you were going to say she's giving me some lip because I'm getting some lip from my 12-year-old little guys.
She does. We have a great relationship though. And I think it's been challenging. She's taught me a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Now, how did you come to have this business? Like, were you in the corporate world and you were like struggling and you decided to live the dream, or were you always an entrepreneur?
I've always been an entrepreneur. I was raised by two entrepreneurs. My sister went into corporate. I just never was drawn to that. So I was in the fashion industry, first as a Ford model, then as an art director, and then as a designer. So we had our own fashion company from literally the thread all the way to the point of sale. So international entrepreneurship in my 20s and 30s, and then I moved back to the States. And this is something that I can't ignore. Trust me, I've tried. I can't ignore it. This is what my whole life has been geared for this moment, literally right here, right now. And being in the field of health and educating people about healthy ways to live and be is just something I'm passionate about. I geek out about. It's been 30 years, almost 27 years, and I just can't stop geeking out about it. I mean, literally, I was not watching a movie the other night. I was researching grapes and polyphenols. I'm just totally into it. So yeah, I can't really ignore it. It's really a calling.
That sounds amazing. I started getting really into my fitness when I turned 49 and I'm 52 now. And so at that time I went into a severe cut and I was like 15% body weight. I was like really in the gym and everything. Yeah. But what I learned is that because of like the lack of information, and I hired coaches, right? And they were like menopause coaches and they were all, but it turned out that I was in a cut for too long. And so my body adapted to that lower calories. And so I started plateauing and then gaining weight and I couldn't. And then I went into the starvation mindset of like started binging, which I had never done in my life. And then, so now like it's been 3 years and I had to do a reverse diet and hated my body. I still like have such a journey. And so talk about mom, issues and that was right after my divorce, when you're right after your divorce, you want to like slim down and you want to look good because you're on the market again. So that's been my journey, is that after the reverse diet where like I've gained a ton of weight now, but I'm trying to lift heavier. And now I'm back into a less severe cut, which is going to take longer. So it's going to take several cycles to get back down to that fat loss.
Well, you've learned so much.
Yeah. I love what you're doing. It's so necessary for us as moms, because mentally and physically, I think it's all together, right? And for our businesses too.
Yeah, and we really have to get ultra focused and seal it up. And I don't mean like shut down and not let, I say seal it up from a place of love and compassion and tenderness, but I mean seal up the negative looping, seal up the victimization, seal up the power leaks that drain us, because we don't have time for it. We have to be extremely on purpose
Mhm.
and extremely intentional about everything we're doing because we have so much responsibility. We are controlling the GPD. Consumer spending and supply and demand is really in our hands.
For sure. Everything is.
And we're
Yeah.
controlling the future generations,
Yeah.
right? The kids.
Absolutely.
So we have so much responsibility. And I think we forget how powerful we are. And then
Mhm.
we mishandle or mismanage our power because we're so burned out.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's time to really like own our strength and power, but from a place of love and humility.
That's brilliant. So tell us now, this is a marketing show. So tell us about your marketing and how you get clients.
I get clients, honestly, word of mouth. I try to get clients through other means of Facebook advertising and emailing and partnerships and things like that. But honestly, when I look at who I'm serving right now, it's all word of mouth referrals.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but I constantly am trying new things because I'm endlessly curious about it. And it's tricky, when you're a coach and you're really good at what you do, which I am, and I also know a lot about business. I'm lucky to have both because most coaches don't. And it's tricky. It's tricky to find success as a coach when you're not interested or you don't know about the business end of it.
So this brings me to very naturally to my next question, which is what the naked marketing part is about, is your mistake. What was your biggest marketing mistake that you made in your business?
Trusting people that didn't really know what they were doing and investing and it felt like wasting money. I mean, nothing's ever really wasted. I get it.
Mhm.
But I've invested so much money in all kinds of marketing, and I was told this or that or the other, and it's changing so fast too. And here's the thing: you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
But you didn't know when you did that program that it was going to cause this plateau, and you have to do this whole reverse engineering thing. Um, I didn't know that, my sales process was not optimized, and that's why my Facebook advertising didn't work. I didn't understand that the copywriter, was really trying to do a great job copywriting, but she wasn't really connected to modern marketing needs. And, just trusting people over and over and over again that we're just trying to do a good job, but didn't have the big picture, the full integrated picture of my brand, of my offerings, of what it is that I do. Well enough inside or understood well enough. And maybe I could have found somebody, but they might have cost 4 or 5 times as much. Probably would have saved me the money longer term.
So I love that you're saying that because when I worked at corporate, I was like your sister. So I went into corporate. I was 18 years. I worked for Pepsi, Pizza Hut, Frito-Lay. And all I did all day, every day was launch new products, position them into a gap in the market and message them with the commercial and the packaging and the pricing and then sell them. So when I left corporate 9 years ago and I looked at and I certified as a coach, as an ICF coach, I looked at coaches like us. They were literally like doing what you're doing. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall, trusting people all over the place without having an architect build their actual blueprint. Whereas if you were to build a house, like the city wouldn't even approve you to build a house without a signed off blueprint from a trained and certified architect. Whereas in business, somebody says, oh, I'll do your SEO, you're letting them, it's like the trades are making your drawing. Like, so you're letting the painter make your blueprint for your house. So you have no idea who you should be targeting and what your positioning should be and how you're going to differentiate yourself versus all the other health coaches in the market.
Yeah.
And how are you going to message yourself? So it was
Yeah.
such a surprise to me. And so that's what I do, that's what I help. And I am not cheap. Um, so that brings me to all the coaches that are always like, oh my God, no, I'd rather hire a web person rather than a strategist. But to your point, if you don't have the strategy, you're wasting. And that's that's the biggest heartbreak for me. For you, when
Yeah.
you see people like wasting their time and money on the wrong foods and the wrong diets and the wrong lifestyle approaches, that breaks your heart. That's your calling. And for me, when I see people like that who are wasting their money on their marketing because they don't really have the, the basics of where to go, what to say, who to hit, and how to get to them, that's what breaks my heart. So
I
thank
mean,
you.
and yeah, it's so clear. I mean, it's just, I don't even know how to better say it, but like, it is such a waste of time and money, to just, spray and pray.
Yeah, yeah. And the trouble is, I'll be very honest, there's very few people who are strategists. Like there's very few people, like one of the guests on the show, of course, everybody's talking about their mistakes, and a lot of them are talking about the same mistake that you're talking about. But as he put it, Chala, I didn't even know that I didn't know what I didn't know. So I
That's
didn't
right.
know that one, there was a person like you, and two, where to find one. And to be honest, there's very few, because they're all like doing the website building, or they're doing,
Yeah.
and they
And so
don't,
I learned a lot through my failures, you
I'm sure
know?
you did. So, yeah, I mean, the dream for me is that not only do you have your word of mouth, but that you have another consistent funnel that you don't have to depend on somebody else for, that you literally can turn it on and off like, like a switch. If
That's the dream.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want to help with people. And so you're
Mm,
totally speaking my language. That is
love
awesome.
it.
Now, having gone through that, what advice do you have for people who are watching us around marketing?
It's tricky because, if you're just starting out, you can go into analysis paralysis, and then you can feel like it's too much to start, right? So on the one side, it's like, you got to just start somewhere, have the courage to put yourself out there, and, just start talking about what it is you do. And on the other side, to get from there, right, you're started, and to the next level, it's like you really have to think through, your niche. You have to really think through strategically, like you're saying, how you want to help more and more people, because at the end of the day, it's really about living your purpose and serving your highest good to benefit humanity. And if all of us could be doing that, the world would be a better place. There's no denying that for me.
Yeah.
So my advice is really to, be honest with yourself, and, to take it, one step at a time. In an ideal world, we would all have the budgets of 20,000 and upward to invest in proper marketing strategies and launches and collateral that's professionally designed and branded. But the reality is that may not be possible for everybody. So I don't want people to hold themselves back just because, but just to be patient and not give up, because that is the life of an entrepreneur, is just failing and then trying again, and then failing and then trying again, and then failing and trying again. I mean, you ask any successful entrepreneur, they've failed like 20, 30 times before they succeeded. So, that's just, we have to have that resilience, and we have to have that positive mindset and the trust that it will work out one day.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to add to that. I'm so wholeheartedly in agreement, but I want to add to that the piece that I discovered, because with a name like Chala Dincoy, my parents are immigrants. They came to Canada and they were educated, but they were very tight with money. So they taught me to be tight with money. So when I, left corporate, I didn't have that much money. So I also resisted hiring really, expensive coaches. But what I learned from one of them, who then I hired, and then my income quadrupled itself, was that if you let the mindset of fear and poverty mentality keep you from spending the 20, 30, 40, whatever is needed, even when you don't have it, that's the crux of it. That's what you have to resolve. And it's
He,
all about mindset.
he's right, but you got to be careful who you trust. Right. And that leads us back to what my biggest mistake was. So it's kind of like a catch 22.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do we know who to trust? And it's a gut feeling. Of course, you have to be hopeful, and you do have to trust. And, I love that poverty mindset mentioned, because it's quite real.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit anal, so I talk to like 5 people they coached, right? I did the due diligence because I come from a corporate background. That's how we used to hire people. So that's why I was like, oh, I'm going to check it. So when I talk to people and they are pretty honest and they say, if you're looking for X, you don't look at this guy. And if you're looking for Y, that's what he's for. So that's what I would
I
recommend.
love that. Vet your people. Yeah.
You have to do the due diligence, because to your point, if I need like something different and the person is a brilliant expert in something that I don't need, then I'm wasting my money.
Totally.
But so it's really got to do with, you have to figure out what it is that you need exactly. And in my case, the number one thing that I see in businesses is that they are lacking a niche strategy.
Totally.
And so like once they get niched, and then they can go after that. But
totally,
what's keeping them from getting that is to pay for actual strategy, which costs a lot of money, because look at the competition, like, the number of people who are doing websites versus strategy.
Yeah. And we want to do it all, but guess what, folks? That's not really how we were designed. If you're a great coach, you're a great coach, but you need to get supplemented where you have weaknesses. You don't necessarily need to strengthen all areas that you're weak. You need to stay excellent at what you do and then get help in areas that you're not good at. Get experts on your team, build the team.
Thank you so much. Helene, how do we reach you? How do people reach you?
Well, feel free to reach out through Jennifer-Helene, HELENE.com. And there's the contact. You can contact me directly. There's also a free 7-day lifestyle plan if you want to hit the reset on your health, with some delicious plant-based recipes and some suggestions on lifestyle practices, because your daily medicine, is what you're practicing. So what are you practicing? What are you strengthening?
And so what URL is that one? Because I'm going there right now.
It's Jennifer-Helene.com. You'll be prompted. Yeah,
right.
that
I'm going to be cooking it. I want my skin to glow like yours.
Yeah, to get the glow for sure. High raw, high plant-based phytonutrients. That's the name of the game.
You are such a breath of fresh air and a gentle kick in the butt that I did not know I needed.
Thank you for having me on the show. Bless you, and best of luck to everyone.